I never thought I'd feel my heart stop twice in one lifetime. The first time was when I lost him at 19. The second time was when I opened my door at 60 and saw those same green eyes staring back at me. My name is Charlotte, and I'm about to tell you something that might shock you, something that might make you uncomfortable, something that society tells us shouldn't exist. But I'm here to tell you that love, real, earth-shattering, soul-deep love, doesn't care about your age, your wrinkles, or what your children think. I lived what everyone calls a good life. I married a wonderful man, raised 3 beautiful children, played with my grandchildren, built a comfortable home. I did everything right. I followed all the rules. And when I lost my husband in that terrible accident at 53, I thought that was it. My chapter on love was closed. I was prepared to live out my remaining years in peaceful solitude, wrapped in memories and gratitude. But destiny had other plans. And when it came knocking, it brought with it the one face I never forgot, the one name I whispered in my dreams for 4 decades, and a question that would turn my entire world upside down. Can you fall in love again after 60? Should you?
Let me take you back to where it all began. I was 19 years old, working at my father's bookstore in downtown Charleston. It was the summer of 1983, and the world felt full of possibilities. That's when Michael walked in. He was 21, with dark hair that fell slightly over his forehead and those green eyes that seemed to see right through to my soul. He was looking for a first edition of Hemingway, and I remember my hands trembling as I helped him search the shelves. We talked for 3 hours that day. 3 hours that felt like 3 minutes. What followed was the kind of love you read about in novels, the kind that makes you believe in fate and destiny and all those things cynics laugh at. We met every single day for 6 months. We'd walk along the Battery, talking about everything and nothing. He wanted to be an architect. I wanted to write poetry. We'd sketch out our future together like it was already written in stone. He'd draw houses while I'd write verses about the life we'd build inside them. We were young, we were reckless, and we were completely, devastatingly in love. Then one day, he simply vanished. No phone call, no letter, no explanation. I waited at our usual spot by the fountain for hours, days, weeks. I called his apartment, but the number was disconnected. I went to his college, but they said he'd withdrawn. It was as if he'd been erased from existence. My heart didn't just break. It shattered into so many pieces, I wasn't sure I'd ever find them all. I cried until I had no tears left. I wrote him letters I could never send. I looked for his face in every crowd for years. My father held me while I sobbed, told me that some people just aren't meant to stay, that I was young and would love again. He was right about one thing. I did love again. 2 years later, I met Robert. He was kind, stable, successful, everything a young woman should want. My father approved immediately. We married when I was 23, and I built a good life with him, a really good life. We had 3 children, Sarah, Thomas, and Jennifer. Robert provided for us beautifully. He was attentive, caring, a wonderful father. We had Sunday dinners and family vacations and all the markers of a happy marriage. But here's the truth I never told anyone, not even my best friend, not even in my diary. There was always a small, secret corner of my heart that belonged to Michael. A corner I kept locked away, that I only visited in my dreams. I loved Robert. Truly, I did. But it was a different kind of love, a comfortable love, a safe love. And I convinced myself that was enough, that the burning, all-consuming love I'd felt at 19 was just youthful foolishness, something to be grown out of like a favorite childhood dress that no longer fits.
The years passed, like pages in a book. My children grew, graduated, married, gave me grandchildren. Robert and I settled into a comfortable rhythm. We had our routines, our favorite restaurants, our Saturday morning farmers market walks. We were happy, or at least I told myself we were happy. And then, 7 years ago, on a rainy October evening, everything changed. Robert was driving home from a business dinner when a drunk driver ran a red light. He died instantly. They told me he didn't suffer, as if that was supposed to comfort me. I was 53 years old, and suddenly, I was a widow. The grief was enormous.
But it was different from what I'd felt when Michael disappeared. With Robert, I grieved for the loss of my companion, my friend, the father of my children, the man who'd shared my life for 30 years. But with Michael, losing Michael had felt like losing a piece of my own soul. Robert had been generous and wise. He left me very well provided for financially. The house was paid off, there were investments, insurance. My children wanted me to move closer to them, but I stayed in Charleston. This was my home. These streets held my memories, both the bitter and the sweet. I threw myself into volunteer work, book clubs, my grandchildren. I traveled a bit. Paris, London, Rome. I learned to be alone without being lonely. Most days, anyway. My children worried about me. Sarah especially would hint about dating services for seniors, about widowers in her church who were very nice men. But I couldn't imagine it. I'd had my chance at love, at marriage, at partnership. That chapter was closed. I was content with my memories, my family, my quiet life. Or so I believed. Then came last spring, April 14th to be exact. I remember because it was the day before what would have been my 37th wedding anniversary with Robert. I was expecting Jennifer and the grandkids for dinner. I'd spent the morning making my famous lasagna, tidying up the house, putting fresh flowers in the vases. The doorbell rang at 3:30 in the afternoon, and I assumed Jennifer was early. I opened the door with a smile on my face, probably with flowers still on my apron, and there he was. Older, of course. His dark hair was now silver, and there were lines around those green eyes. But it was him. Unmistakably him. Michael, standing on my doorstep after 41 years, holding a worn leather journal in his hands. For a moment, I genuinely thought I was hallucinating, or having a stroke, or that grief had finally driven me mad. We just stood there, staring at each other. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, couldn't move. Time seemed to fold in on itself, and suddenly I was 19 again, and he was 21, and we were standing by that fountain in the park. "Charlotte," he said, and his voice was exactly the same, just deeper, weathered by time. "I know I have no right to be here, but I had to see you. I had to tell you the truth. Your father, he passed away last month, and I saw the obituary. I'm so sorry for your loss. But Charlotte, I need you to know, I need you to understand what really happened all those years ago." My father? He died at 94, peacefully in his sleep. We'd had a small funeral, just family. And now Michael was here talking about my father, and something in his voice made my stomach drop. "What are you talking about? What does my father have to do with anything?"
Michael's hand shook as he held out that leather journal. "May I come in?" he asked. "Please, I know this is a shock, but I've carried this secret for 41 years, and I can't carry it anymore." I should have slammed the door. I should have told him to leave, but instead, I stepped aside and let him walk into my living room, into my life, back into that locked corner of my heart I'd kept sealed for over 4 decades. We sat across from each other in my living room, and he began to talk. His words came out rushed at first, then steadier, like a dam finally breaking. "That summer we spent together," he said, "was the happiest time of my entire life. You have to believe that, Charlotte. I was planning to propose to you. I had saved up for a ring. I was going to ask you on your 20th birthday." My heart clenched. My 20th birthday? I'd spent it crying in my room, wondering why he'd abandoned me. 2 days before your birthday, your father came to see me. He showed up at my apartment early in the morning. I thought maybe he was going to invite me to a family dinner, or maybe he'd figured out I was planning to propose and wanted to talk to me, man to man. Michael's voice cracked. Instead, he told me that if I truly loved you, I would disappear from your life.
He said I was a poor college student with no prospects, no family connections, no money. He said you deserved better than a life of struggle. He said he'd worked too hard to build his business, to give you opportunities, to see you throw it all away on someone like me. I felt the blood drain from my face. No, I whispered. My father, my loving, protective father who dried my tears and told me everything would be okay. I was 21 years old, Michael said. I was terrified, and I was arrogant enough to think that maybe he was right. Maybe you did deserve better than what I could offer you then. So I took his deal. I went to New York. I became an architect. I built a successful career. And every single day for 41 years, I regretted it. He opened the leather journal, and I saw pages and pages of sketches. Houses, beautiful, detailed architectural drawings. Every house I ever designed, he said softly, I designed thinking of you, thinking of the life we should have built together. The tears were streaming down my face now. 41 years, my entire adult life built on a lie. I married someone else, I said, my voice barely audible. I had children. I built a whole life. I know, Michael said. I married too. Helen. She was a good woman. We had a son. I tried to love her the way she deserved, and maybe I did in my own way. But she knew. She always knew there was someone else in my heart. She never asked, and I never told her, but she knew. She passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. We sat in silence for a long moment. The weight of lost time, of stolen possibilities pressed down on both of us. Why now? I finally asked. Why come to me now, after all these years? He looked at me with those green eyes, and I saw everything in them. Regret, hope, fear, love. Because when I saw your father's obituary, I realized I was finally free to tell you the truth. And when I saw that your husband had passed, I thought, maybe, just maybe, we could have a second chance. I know we're not kids anymore, Charlotte. I know we're 60 and 62 years old. I know it's been a lifetime. But I also know that I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. My phone buzzed. Jennifer. Texting that they were 15 minutes away. Reality crashed back in. My daughter was coming for dinner. My grandchildren. My life. The life I'd built, even if it was built on foundations I didn't know were cracked. You have to go, I said abruptly. My daughter is coming. I need time to process this. Michael stood immediately. Of course, I'm staying at the Harbor Inn, room 212. I'll be in Charleston for a week. If you want to talk, if you want to see me again, or if you want me to leave and never come back, I'll understand. I just needed you to know the truth.
He left just minutes before Jennifer arrived, and I spent that entire dinner in a daze. My granddaughter Emma kept asking if I was okay, if I had a headache. I smiled and nodded and served lasagna and pretended my entire world hadn't just been turned upside down. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing through 41 years of memories, re-examining everything through this new, devastating lens. My father had stolen my choice. He decided what was best for me, who I should love, what life I should lead. And yes, I'd had a good life with Robert. I'd been happy, or at least content. But what if I'd had the choice? What if Michael and I had struggled together, built something together, grown together? For 3 days, I didn't contact Michael. I went about my routine mechanically. I volunteered at the library. I had coffee with my book club friends. I FaceTimed with Sarah in Atlanta. And every moment, I felt like I was being torn in two. Part of me wanted to run to that hotel, to throw myself into Michael's arms and reclaim what had been stolen from us. But the other part, the practical, responsible part that had guided me for 60 years, that part said I was being ridiculous. I was a 60-year-old widow with 3 grown children and 5 grandchildren. What was I thinking? You don't get do-overs in life. You don't get to go back and reclaim lost love like finding a misplaced earring. On the 4th day, I was at the farmer's market when I saw him. He was standing by a flower stand, looking at roses. He hadn't seen me yet, and I could have walked away, should have walked away. But instead, I found myself walking toward him. "Michael," I said softly. He turned, and the hope that flooded his face nearly broke me. "Charlotte," I was starting to think. "Can we talk?" I asked. "Really talk?" We went to a small cafe by the water, the kind of place where no one I knew would see us. Isn't that awful? I was already hiding, already ashamed, and we hadn't even done anything. We ordered coffee we didn't drink and sat across from each other, 2 people who should have been strangers, but weren't. "I need to understand something," I said. "All these years, did you ever try to reach out? Ever try to find me?" He nodded slowly. "Once. About 10 years after I left. I'd had some success, made something of myself. I thought maybe enough time had passed. I called the bookstore. Your father answered. He told me you were married, pregnant with your 2nd child, blissfully happy. He said if I had any decency, I'd let you keep that happiness and never contact you again. So I didn't. Another decision made for me. Another choice stolen. I loved my husband," I said firmly, needing him to understand. "Robert was a good man, a wonderful father. I don't regret my children, my life with him." "I know," Michael said, "and I'm not asking you to regret it. I'm just asking, is there any room in your heart for us now? For who we could be now?" That's when I started to cry. Really cry. All the grief and anger and confusion and, yes, the love. It all came pouring out. "Michael, I'm 60 years old. I have wrinkles and gray hair, and I need reading glasses. My body isn't what it was. My life is complicated. I have children who will have opinions, grandchildren who need stability, friends who will gossip. Society tells us that people our age are supposed to be done with romance, done with passion, done with this kind of fire." He reached across the table and took my hand. His hand was older now, spotted with age, but his touch sent the same electricity through me that it had when I was 19. "Charlotte, I've spent 41 years living half a life. I'm not asking forever because neither of us knows how much time we have left. I'm just asking for now, for today, for whatever time we can have together. Don't we deserve that? Haven't we earned the right to be happy, even at our age?" I pulled my hand back. "You make it sound so simple, but it's not. My daughter Sarah is already worried about me being alone, about my mental state after losing Robert. If I tell her I'm seeing someone, she'll probably throw a party. But if I tell her it's you, that it's someone from my past, someone I loved before her father, she'll think I'm having some kind of crisis. She'll worry. They'll all worry." "Are you?" Michael asked quietly. "Having a crisis?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. Was this a crisis? Or was this the first truly honest thing I'd felt in decades? "I don't know," I whispered. "All I know is that when I'm with you, I feel like myself again. Not someone's mother or grandmother or widow. Just Charlotte. The Charlotte I was before I learned to be practical and sensible and appropriate." Michael leaned forward. "Then be that Charlotte.
Be the woman who would have run away with me at 19. Be the woman who wrote poetry and dreamed big dreams. That woman is still in there, Charlotte. I can see her in your eyes. And that's when I made my decision. Maybe it was reckless. Maybe it was foolish. Maybe it was the bravest thing I'd ever done. Okay, I said. Okay, let's try. But slowly, carefully. I need to figure out how to tell my children. I need to...
We'll go at whatever pace you need, Michael said, squeezing my hand. And so we began. Secretly at first, like teenagers sneaking around. We'd meet for coffee in neighboring towns. We'd take long drives along the coast. We'd talk for hours about everything we'd missed, all those years that had passed between us. And slowly, carefully, I felt myself coming back to life in a way I hadn't even realized I'd been dormant. The passion I'd buried, the dreams I'd set aside, the Charlotte I'd forgotten existed. She was waking up. But secrets don't stay hidden forever, especially not in a family as close as mine. 6 weeks after Michael came back into my life, Jennifer showed up unannounced and found us having lunch in my backyard. The look on her face, it was like I'd slapped her. "Mom, who is this?" she asked, her voice tight. I introduced Michael, my heart pounding. I watched my daughter's face go through a dozen emotions, confusion, concern, and then something that looked almost like betrayal. "Can I talk to you inside?" she said. It wasn't a question. In my kitchen, Jennifer exploded. "Are you dating him? Mom, Dad's only been gone 7 years, and you're 60 years old. What are you thinking?" Her words stung, but what hurt more was the implication beneath them. That I was too old for this, that I should be content with my memories, that romance was something for younger people. "Jennifer, I understand this is a shock." "A shock? Mom, this is insane. You barely know this man. What if he's after your money? What if he breaks your heart? What if..." She stopped, and I saw tears in her eyes. "What if you forget about Dad?" That broke something open in me. "Jennifer Marie, I could never forget your father. He gave me you and your siblings. He gave me 30 good years. But he's gone, honey. And I'm still here. I'm still alive. And I have the right to be happy. To feel something other than grief and contentment." "But at your age, Mom," said Jennifer, and there it was, the thing everyone was thinking, but nobody wanted to say out loud. "What about my age?" I asked, my voice stronger now. "Am I supposed to just wait around to die? Spend my remaining years playing it safe, watching television, being a convenient babysitter? Is that what you want for me?" The conversation ended badly. Jennifer left upset, and within hours, I got calls from Sarah and Thomas. Family emergency video call. 3 concerned faces on my screen talking about grief counseling and how vulnerable I was and whether I was thinking clearly. Sarah even suggested I talk to my doctor about depression. Not one of them asked if I was happy. Not one of them asked what I wanted. They talked about me like I was a child who couldn't be trusted to make her own decisions. That night, I sat with Michael on my porch and cried. "Maybe they're right," I said. "Maybe we're being foolish. Maybe I should just..." "Stop," Michael said firmly. "Charlotte, I let other people make decisions for me once before. I let your father convince me that I wasn't good enough for you, that you'd be better off without me. I've regretted it every day for 41 years. I'm not going to let fear or other people's opinions steal what little time we have left." He stood up and got down on one knee. Right there on my porch, this 62-year-old man with silver hair and weathered hands got down on one knee. "I'm not asking you to marry me. Not yet, anyway. I'm asking you to choose yourself. Choose your happiness. Choose to believe that love doesn't have an expiration date, that passion doesn't die at 60, that we deserve this. We've earned this. So what do you say, Charlotte? Will you choose us? And in that moment, I realized something profound. My whole life, I'd let other people make my choices. My father decided Michael wasn't good enough. Society decided what was appropriate for a young woman. My children were now trying to decide what was appropriate for an older woman. But this moment, this choice, it was mine. Only mine. Yes, I said, pulling him up and into my arms. Yes, I choose us. It hasn't been easy. Sarah still barely speaks to me. Some of my friends whisper when they think I can't hear them. My book club suddenly had concerns about my judgment. But you know what? I am happier than I've been in decades. Michael and I are planning a trip to Italy next month. We're talking about him moving to Charleston. We're building something real and beautiful, even if it doesn't look like what society thinks it should look like. Because here's what I've learned. Love doesn't care about your age. It doesn't care about your wrinkles or your reading glasses or what your children think. Love is love, whether you're 19 or 60. And if you're lucky enough to find it, to have a second chance at it, you grab it with both hands and you don't let go. So, to anyone out there who thinks they're too old for love, too old for passion, too old for a second chance, you're not. You're never too old. Not as long as your heart is still beating. Not as long as you're still brave enough to choose yourself, to choose happiness, to choose love. My name is Charlotte, and I'm 60 years old, and I'm more alive now than I've ever been, and I'm not apologizing for that to anyone.
And now I want to speak directly to you, sitting there on the other side of the screen, who listened to this story all the way through. What did you think of Charlotte's journey? Did it touch something deep inside you? Maybe it reminded you of your own story, your own lost love, or your own struggle against society's expectations about age and romance. I want you to know that this story is real. The names and locations have been changed to protect the privacy of those involved, but Charlotte's experience, her pain, her courage, and her rediscovered love, all of it happened. And it's happening to more people than you might imagine, because love doesn't retire. Passion doesn't have an expiration date, and you are never too old to choose happiness. If this story moved you, if it made you feel something, please subscribe to our channel, Real Hearts After 60. Hit that notification bell because we share real stories of real people finding love, courage, and new beginnings after 60. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling us your story. And remember, it's never too late to choose yourself. It's never too late to choose love.